back to Black Women Link Up, where we bring the real back to Black sisterhood. I am your host, Brianna, and this is the first episode of the 4th season. So, period. This next season, I am really excited. This will be my first time doing a podcast ever by myself. I kind of already addressed in the last episode why it's just me now. So if you haven't already checked out that episode, make sure you go back and go watch that and then come back here. It is officially 2026, and you guys, my holiday season, it felt so weird. I was telling my mom this is the first year that I haven't asked for a thing. Like, I didn't make a Christmas list. I was more so worried about making a list for everybody else and when I was gonna get them. And it was also the first year I didn't go back home to New York, which is really, really weird for me. The last time I went back home to New York was in March, so it's really weird. My whole family lives in New York. My extended family lives here in Ohio, so I got to see them, but not seeing my blood relatives kind of bothered me a little bit, and it's something that I never want to do again. And I actually wanted to go see my dad, but there was a horrible snowstorm and whatever. So my feelings were kind of hurt, not gonna lie. But I told myself this next year I will plan a lot better, around the holiday season, because it did something to me. The holidays is all about family and reconnecting with loved ones, and I felt the holiday spirit, but not really at the same time. So I want to give a disclaimer before I get into the topic. Something that I told myself that I definitely wanted to ground myself in this season is just bringing back individuality. And I think a lot of the time when I thought of different podcast topics, I always worried about, well, this is over talked about, or this is an oversaturated topic, or people don't want to hear about relationships. And something that I had to tell myself was just there's 5,000 brands that make sports clothing, right? But each brand stands out because of its own individuality, what the brand stands for, what the brand is known for, the design, whatever. So you are going to hear me talk about relationships and my experiences. You are going to hear me talk about faith and my experiences. You are going to hear me talk about family trauma and my experiences. And I'm just done feeling sorry for the oversaturated relationship conversations. There's a million podcasts in the world. If you don't want to hear my perspective when it comes to relationships, you don't have to be here. That's just my take on it. I do want to give a life update though, because I feel like I haven't really talked to the internet in such a long time, except for TikTok. Follow me on TikTok. There's been a lot going on, actually. I have been dating again, and that experience has been chef's kiss. When I tell you guys, funny how it's what I start with the life update is dating. But this experience has been so seamless, and I think I overcomplicated what dating meant, and it was really two people that know what they want, and they came together and they started dating, and it's all sunshine and rainbows. And that's not to say that you always agree on things, but it's to say that we both know what we want, and it really is that simple. I joined a youth ministry at my church. I'm the event coordinator and the social media coordinator. Well, one of the social media coordinators for that. I'm really excited to see where that goes. We're kind of relaunching our 2026 strategy and what that means for this ministry. So I'm really excited about that as well. What else? I'm still at my 9-to-5 job. I love that job so much. You guys know, I love if you're my close friends, I talk about my job pretty much once a week. I did take off 2 weeks from work though, and I go back to work tomorrow, and I tell myself I have to record this podcast today because I already know Q1, the follow-ups from before holiday going into Q1 is going to be absolutely crazy. But I needed the mental break. I needed to shut my brain off, and I posted a TikTok about this and was PTO means you're not doing anything. I didn't do any podcast content. I think I did one collab for one of my homeboys brands. And that was it. The rest of the time I was chilling, I was cleaning, I was decluttering my home as you should. I was doing all the things that like mentally just reset myself for 2026. What else has been going on? I feel like that's really it. I'm really excited to start this podcast journey with you guys. The only thing I ask for is like, when you come to watch this podcast, watch it with an open mind and watch it knowing that like I'm 28 years old. I have a unique story. My perspective is different from everybody else's. We're going to talk about drama. We're going to talk about all the things, but the number one thing that I want to like always keep as like a solid core foundation is being real. So yeah, I may have misinformation sometimes. My opinion might be wrong. You may disagree. Feel free to engage. Feel free to comment. But I'm just me. So, so we started out doing hot takes. I keep saying me. I started doing hot takes before getting into like podcast topics. Just hot takes on what's going on social media, in the culture, what have you. And I had a few things that I wanted to touch on. The first thing being Stranger Things. If you do not watch Stranger Things, you need to watch it. Yeah, I just finished the finale, the last ever finale of the 4th season, I believe. I watched all 4 seasons in a matter of 2 months. It's that good. I literally binge watch it every single day. And they're like hour-long episodes. So yeah, it really is that good. It's a sci-fi show about a few kids that play this game called Dungeons and Dragons, and it literally ends up being, it's like Jumanji. It turns into Dungeons and Dragons, the game that they're playing. But it's a really good show, 10 out of 10. I was baffled by the finale. I don't want to give any like spoilers, so yeah, if you haven't already, make sure you go watch it. I'm a Stranger Things stan. The Duffer Brothers knew exactly what they were doing and how they were doing it, and now there is apparently a spinoff. So I'm very excited for that. I also wanted to touch on Diddy the Reckoning, the show, well, the documentary from 50 Cent, where he somehow got all these clips of Diddy and all the like BS he was running, the scandals and everything, and y'all, I could not believe. And I was talking to my mom about this too, of like, it said there's still like 99 cases pending. 99 people have come forward, filed a civil case against this person, and he's only in jail for a few years. That just doesn't sit right with me. I feel like he needs to be criminally charged. I don't know, like why does the justice system not take the information and the evidence and say, this shouldn't be a civil case, it should be upgraded to like a criminal case? I don't know much about how like the nitty and gritty laws work when it comes to the judicial system. But I was sitting back like fraud, sexual assault, like all these things to me just seems like you need to go to jail for life. And now they're coming out, or is it Tubi? No, what's the other? Oh my, Zeus. Zeus is producing a documentary based on the brothers, the sons. Diddy, Sean, wait, no, what's his name? The tall one, the tall, skinny, brown skin one, I forget his name, I'll put it somewhere on the screen. And then the little light skin with the curly hair. Y'all, I'm gonna watch it. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm gonna watch it. I will report back. But I think it's crazy how like now all of a sudden they want to do documentary and be in front of the camera on TV. They've never done anything like this before. But now since 50 Cent, whatever. I digress. The Streamer Awards. Oh my gosh. I did not watch. Okay. I don't know if I mentioned this on my previous podcast, but I'm a streamer like lover. I love watching Casanat, AMP, Phantom, Agent, Duke. Love all of them down bad. Ty Lil, 10 Toes Down, the whole Ty Lil Jordan situation, Jordan, whatever her name is, crazy. Don't like that girl. That girl is the reason why a lot of black men are incarcerated for no reason. I went to see how this case pans out, if there even is a case. I know Ty Lil. So, backstory, let me backtrack. Jordan Pauline is another streamer. She's also an artist, I believe. She makes music. They went to a streamer awards after party, and Tyler was accused of sexually assaulting Jordan. The tea is that Jordan apparently was upset that Tyler. First of all, Tyler was wrong for even being in that situation to begin with because you have a whole girlfriend. But whatever. So I guess Tyler's girlfriend calls, and Jordan is sitting there, and I guess they're about to do whatever, and she starts crashing out, saying all these things to him, whatever. She's wanting to get an Uber. He calls her Uber. It's a Toyota or something like that. She wants a black truck. She gets a black truck, and then she forgets her phone. The whole thing, there's still some gaps in the story that I'm like, it don't make sense. Because one, why are you leaving your phone? Two, you have 2-3 phones, so why does it even matter? If you make money like that, having that phone means nothing. Not having that phone means nothing. Just get another phone, you know? So I don't know. But that wasn't what this was supposed to be about. I wanted to focus on the comments that were being said at the Streamer Awards, specifically to Kai Cenat.
You broke the record for the most expensive haircut and the least educational university. So congratulations to you. Oh, and also, congrats on your new documentary with 50 Cent. That was you, right?
I'm not wearing any earrings. I don't know. It just didn't sit right with me when I think the biggest thing that was like surfacing on the internet was the fact that the host said, or the co-host made a joke about Kai Cenat, pretty much saying that he was on the Diddy The Reckoning documentary. Because he kind of does look like Diddy, low-key. No tea, no shade. The timing, that just didn't sit right with me. And like throughout the whole night, if you like watch clips or whatever, those hosts, it seemed like they were purposely trying to say the most ignorant comments to everybody. Like they wanted clicks, they wanted views, they knew that the stuff was gonna get clipped, and you still decided to be as ignorant as he was. It seemed like it was intentional. The whole situation was like, it didn't sit right with me at all. The fact that there's even a Streamer Awards is kind of crazy to me though, because streaming has just got to that level of like an industry where there's a whole award show for it. There's a TikTok Awards too, apparently. I didn't even know that. That recently came on after the Streamer Awards. Keith Lee won Creator of the Year. I believe Love Keith Lee and his whole family down. But yeah, that doesn't sit right with me. If you have any feedback or know any information or want to tag along to the tea, comment down below, because that was just messy. It was just messy to me. So the main topic I wanted to talk about today was idolization versus inspiration and my personal experiences with it, the differences between the two, self-growth, and all the things, right? I think the biggest difference between the two is where you're at in your own self, in your own personal growth. I think when, you know, I was growing into the woman I am and was like tackling a lot of experiences that could have broke me, I think that's when I was the most insecure and I didn't really know who I was. So I was taking a lot of like outside forces and things and people and using that to kind of be my guide as to what I thought my life should look like. Social media is probably the biggest key factor. And this, I'm talking like 2019 to like 2022. It was a really, I feel like that's when like the peak influencer whole thing came up, and you know, you had people on Instagram making all this money, traveling with like nice cars, shoes, whatever. And I can admit that I was like idolizing these things. Like I wanted these things for myself, and I was doing I was like skipping all the necessary steps it takes to genuinely be successful just because I was focused on success and not the path that it takes to get success. I think when you're inspired by something, it's like it expands your mental, but it doesn't affect how you move at the same time. I think comparison culture is really real, and even I find myself sometimes getting way too deep into like somebody's TikTok, or you know how the algorithm works nowadays. Like once you follow somebody, all their videos come up. And I'll sometimes find myself like having a having to discern, like, am I inspired by this person or am I idolizing this person? And the only person I idolize or that I want to idolize is God. Like, we really shouldn't be idolizing anybody. I think some of the biggest things that, you know, you can tell when you are idolizing versus being inspired by something is constantly comparing yourself, losing your voice and your boundaries. That's something that I also struggled with, was like not really standing firm on who I was and letting things slide and being a yes woman. And like, I was saying yes to so many things and so many people. And I had this big group of friends, and it was like the outside lifestyle, and I was having all these opportunities, and it was great. But now my circle is like this, and that's how I knew, like, those people, those things just was not for me, because it was so easy to like those friendships I had was so easily broken. Those opportunities I had was easily taken away from me. Like, it was like, it felt real in the moment, but in retrospect, when I look back, I'm like, girl, I was stupid. I don't know, use the word stupid, but I made a lot of careless decisions when it comes to like who I let in my circle, who I let in my space, what I let myself feed into, like on social media and around that time. Like, in this season of becoming this 28-year-old that I am today, I'm like, I thank God that I'm able to use discernment now and understand what discernment means versus just judging, because that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother time. Like, I can confidently say I've never felt so confident in myself. And like, now I look at things as like, yeah, that's nice. That person has a great life. I love that for them. That person has a nice car. I love that for them. God can only bless you. God doesn't bless who you pretend to be. And I think when you idolize things and people, you try your hardest to like become that. And it's like, babe, you're your whole own person. Like, you are limiting yourself from potential doors and opportunities because you're mentally mirroring somebody that you're not. Even in my career, like, showing up in your career insecure, all it does is hold back blessings that God has in store for you. And I think when I was finally able to like open my mouth and advocate for myself and my wants and my needs, I was maybe getting turned down by something, but instead of, fixing my head to be like, I'm not good enough, I'm thinking of it now as like, God just has better for me. I think it all comes down to like wanting somebody else's life versus just building your own. Like, be yourself, babe. It's okay. Like, it's okay to work a 9 to 5. It's okay to be like, I don't know. I hate is a very strong word, but I really hate the fact that like social media has literally turned into like it's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just not what it used to be. Social media started comparison culture. Yeah. Like, even when it comes to creativity in your content, like, there's a million different ways. I miss Vine. I really miss Vine. I feel like I've said this before. Vine was a place where people were doing and saying whatever, from dance, sports, all of that. Like, creators were a lot more unique. And now I feel like social media is just, you follow this trend, and that's what gets you support. I'm lucky to be able to have a platform on my TikTok where I share those boundaries. I share the fact that, I'm no longer going out my way to create content. I share the fact that I am a normal woman with a 9 to 5 and a side hustle and in a youth ministry and doing all the things, and I'm still grounded and I'm blessed by God's grace, but I don't look like what I've been through. Like, I share all those things and I try to be as authentic as possible because I know that my story, my life, my experiences can help somebody that is maybe struggling with what I struggled with once upon a time. And it's a work in progress. Like, I'm not saying I'm the most transparent person in the whole wide world, because I do still struggle to like fight myself with sharing certain experiences with the world. And I do think that there's a such thing as Not everybody needs to know everything about you. But I do appreciate, the ability to help one person. Even with the podcast, like I watch podcasts all the time. I'm a YouTube stream, Twitch person. That's all I watch. I'm not really into cable TV. I'm not into like all those shows. If I find a good show, I binge watch it and I move on. Stranger Things, for example. But I watch how a lot of podcasts, have all the professional lighting and like the camera people and all of that stuff. And they don't even be good podcasts. I made the decision to not film podcasts in my house anymore because I think when I come in a separate space, like my house is already my office for my job. I work from home. So I wanted to be able to, have a space where I can come, I can put my podcasting hat on and not be too comfortable and kind of like just shift my mental into, creativity and talking and community and thinking about all the things that I want to talk about versus me just like popping myself on my couch. And I don't know, I feel like it makes a difference. Your setting and what you're doing makes a difference in what you produce. Even being able to have a podcast, even being able to like rent out a studio, like I'm the most, I will do this podcast and then I will make content, I will take pictures, whatever. Like I love creating. I realized I was limiting myself just being in my house. And if I really wanted to, make this podcast go somewhere, I was gonna have to invest the time and the money into it. I'm not sitting here saying that, I want to have all these really vulnerable, deep conversations so that my podcast can get clicks and it can be like this, and that, and like no. This is not Red Table Talk. This is not Boo-hoo Cry. Like not every podcast is gonna be. I don't know. So 3 core messages from this podcast that I guess the key takeaways, because I like to be all over the place and I may have a slight case of ADHD, is you don't need to put anyone on a pedestal to learn from them. It's always alignment over obsession, and proof always holds more weight than pressure. Who are you admiring and who are you abandoning yourself for? Inspiration should remind you of who you are, but not convince you that you're not enough. I want to invite you guys to join in the conversation, so DM or comment below. Make sure you follow on Instagram, Black Women Link Up 2K is in the link, as well as on TikTok. I'm very excited for this season. I definitely want to bring back Black Men Link Up. I think one of the common misconceptions of this podcast is that it's like all based around women, and it's like it's a platform for women by women, but I also value the opinions of Black men, and I value Black men's stories, and I think there's 5 million stories of Black men that like the way that they think. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but it's also intriguing to know like how their life experiences have shaped them to who they are. So I definitely want to, collab with more Black men. I want to do events. I want to just do all the things. I want to start a series called Brianna Tries, where sometimes it won't be a podcast, but it'll be a vlog, and I'm like trying something new. So I'm looking forward to that this season. And yeah, I'm Bree, and this is Black Women Like That.